It's a big day. I'm making Kelly's favorite steak of all time. The one she asked for. It's a big day because I'm making the steak Kelly asks for. It's a big day because I'm making the steak Kelly asks for all the time. And I don't make it for her all the time. Look, if you've been married as long as I have, you know one thing. You can't give in always. You have to hold back some stuff. Make them want it. Make them work for it. And I'm very comfortable saying that because she's not here right now. I'd get my ass kicked. But here's where we're starting. Big ass ribeye. That's, oh look, it stays by itself. One big ass ribeye. This ribeye is 1 1/4 pounds. And we're cooking this baby. So here's how this goes down. We cook a steak. It comes out, it rests. While it rests, we make the most amazing, simple, little, delicious mustard cream sauce for it that you're gonna love. Max is gonna hate it because it's beige and it's gonna photograph really Okay, you have to season your steak. So we'll start like this. Here's what I like to do. I like a little oil first, a little bit, go both sides. And I'm using avocado oil. It smokes at a higher smoke point, smokes at the highest smoke point, and that's what you want. We're not going for flavor when it comes to the oil for our steak. It's about lubrication, one, and how high the smoke point is. And we're gonna cook this thing in a hot cast iron pan. We don't want the shit burning because if it burns, it gives off a nasty flavor and you don't want that. Now we season. Kosher salt and fresh ground pepper only. Like you want to put some garlic in, do it. And by the way, this might look like a lot, but look how thick this steak is. And you have to remember, when you go to eat this, it's not being cut this way, it's being cut this way, so you're only getting a little bit of the seasoning that's right on the top. And then as we turn, we like to season the edges because it's so thick. If it was thin, I wouldn't worry about that. So, look what, you thought I was gonna cook on the grill. Well, I am, technically, but I'm using a cast iron pan because that's what I want for this. I don't want the stripes. I want like a crust, all the way to the bottom side, all the way to the top side. So we grab our steak. Let's take advantage of the seasoning that's still on the plate, and we'll just do this. Try and get the last bits of it. And then, by the way, this is a 1 1/4 pound prime ribeye. That's a beautiful steak. Is that a beautiful steak or what?
Oh yeah.
Could eat it just like that. And before we throw it in my grandmother's cast iron pan, by the way, she died 20-ish years ago. That pan's probably almost 100 years old. Let's check the temperature, 2 ways. The first is with our little infrared thing, and that is almost 675 degrees in the center. And it's burning my hand right here. The other way to check if your pan's ready is the water test. The water test looks like this. We just take a little handful of water and we splash it in, and it looks like that. And you see, well, I'll do it again. Stay right there, Max. Look at the little beading. When it beads up like that, it's hot as shit, man. When it beads up like that and runs off, you're ready. And now, in goes the steak. We've talked about it before. That, ladies and gentlemen, is the sound you want. If your steak is not making that sound, you don't have nearly enough heat going on in your pan. And the smell from right here is steakhouse. Unbelievable. But here's the thing, because it's so thick, we're gonna do something. We're gonna cook it on both sides a little bit, then we're gonna move it to a side without any heat, close the lid and kind of use it like an oven. But right now, it gets all the benefit of all the heat. And after a minute-ish, minute and a half, beautiful, we turn. Look how pretty. Same thing on this side. Don't touch it, don't move it, just let it do its thing. You're building up this gorgeous crust, and that's what you want. Okay, so here we are. We're about a minute and a half or so on each side. Here's what we're gonna do. I'm gonna move it over to this side. I'm gonna turn off the heat underneath. This side will stay on, and now we close the lid, and now that works like an oven, right? It's the ambient heat on one side that's gonna keep it cooking on the other side, but without direct heat underneath. So it won't burn the bottom of that steak anymore. You'll just cook it lovingly. And we're gonna know when it's ready because we have a good instant read thermometer. You should get yourself one, ladies and gentlemen. These are a very important piece of equipment for all your cooking, not just shit that's outside. And by the way, what I'm doing here on my grill should show you 2 things. One, you can use your grill for not just like meat and fish and stuff like that. You can put a pan or a pot on it. But what I'm doing here, you could easily do in your house. It's no question. You would cook the steak on each side and then put it into your oven. I'm just using the grill as my oven. People forget you can do that. And now we're gonna check, because I don't want it to go over about 128 or 9 or 30. There's really nothing to do until then. Okay, look, 123, I think I'm here. So here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna take them off, put them on a clean plate, and then cover them up with foil. And he's just gonna rest about 10 minutes while we make our sauce. Let's go. We start in the pan with some butter and some oil. And if you haven't heard me say it before, I like this combination because the butter gives flavor, the oil keeps the butter from burning, really. And ingredient number 3 is diced shallots. And if you didn't have shallots, you could definitely use yellow onion, red onion, whatever. And by the way, I've turned the temperature down to low. We don't want to burn these onions. Or our next ingredient coming in, which is a clove of garlic. The smell is insane. By the way, this garlic press is a Xylus. Here's the name. Xylus. I think they're from Switzerland. I don't necessarily know for sure. But here's the deal. You put a clove of garlic in. You notice how it's all come out. You put a clove of... You put... damn you. You put a clove of garlic in unpeeled. And it's such a great little press that it squeezes the pulp out, leaves the paper behind, which is very nice. This particular one I've probably had for 20 years. 17, 18, I don't know, 20 years, something like that. It's a great one. We'll put a link down in the what is it called? The notes. Description. Right, okay, let's keep going. We've got butter, we've got oil, we've got shallots, could be any onion. We've got the garlic, and now we're gonna add what's gonna make this a sauce, some regular, everyday whipping cream. And as it cooks and bubbles and simmers and evaporates, it starts to thicken. And as it does, we add the last few things. We'll start with some Dijon mustard, about a tablespoon, a little Worcestershire, and some salt and pepper. And then we mix. Okay, it's pretty watery right now, but in a couple minutes, it's gonna be beautiful. I can't even do that, man, it's so hot. And look what happens after a couple of minutes. It gets all badass looking. Look at now, look how thick it is, right? And I don't want it thick like a hollandaise. I just want it nice. So I'm gonna turn it off. I'm gonna let it stay warm. I'm gonna slice the steak and we're ready. Here's what we're doing. We're taking our gorgeous steak off from resting. Max just hit the light. Put it here so we can cut it. Okay, so we'll take this little fat guy off the side. But by the way, check out, and we want to cut against the grain, and just let me show you this. The grain runs this way. When you cut against the grain, you shorten up those fibers and make your food much more tender. So we'll just go like this. Oh, hello, perfect. I love you. I can read the comments now. It's raw. And trust me, I cook this a lot further along than many people I know that are huge steak people. Okay, so for presentation purposes, let's move everything over to this black slate board. If I can do this properly, I'll put this kid right here. Let's spread it out so it all looks nice. Oh boy. Look, here's one of the reasons. You know that expression that I use all the time, fat's flavor? Well, look, ribeye definitely has more fat, but it also has more flavor. So we put the steak here. Wow. And here's our sauce. I hate to repeat myself, but oh, come on now. The last thing we give it is a little fresh ground pepper and some parsley. I have a fork. I wanted to use my fingers, but Max said no, use a fork. Look it. Look it! Perfectly cooked steak. This delicious little rich sauce. Oh my God. No, I'm not kidding. Oh my God. This is just kind of insane. And you have to make it. It's Kelly's favorite. And I absolutely love it. I don't know why I fight her so much. No, I don't want to make it again. I make it again and then I'm like fucking crazy for it. So, here's where we've ended up. We've cooked the steak. We made a sauce, we put it on, we've eaten it, and that's what you have to do. I got nothing else. Thanks for hanging out with us. I always say it means a lot. And for the shirts that I've been wearing lately, the Make America Cook Again culinary statement, not a political statement, you can go to makeamericacookagain.com. It's all right there with new designs, actually. There's some cool shit there. All right. Thanks for being with us. Go eat something good. See ya.